You know where we headed? Towards the sunset, but the sun now rises, red and red and setting, red and rising. Bury me with Papa Crowley up in that New Jersey. 1/3 of me up in the mountain, Royal. Up in Montreal, the island. For the bakers, for the butchers, for the nurses, for the druggers, for the doctors and the cooks. Grocery store clerks, hey, I gotta take a look. You know that I play black and white on rainbow, hey. I'm that outdoors on the marching steps. You know that I love that red, red, red. We're gonna switch it to that French, cause you know you're not bad province. Up in North America, gotta cheer on for that Kamala. I was born in the good old USA, post 77.6, you know that I spray. Hey, with some kisses and some tickles, rock and roll those push-ups, licks. All the way up in the south, did I roam in a past life, read Patton's poetry, you know, aloud. I'll allow it for to say, I'll allow it for to stay, I'll allow it for to stay. Butchers and the trucks and the bakers, those construction workers in steel toes. On the crane up in the go, coast to coast up in the Canada. This Quebecer, that Canadian, North American was born up in the USA. 3 times once a woman, you know, that's the twice a man that served in the US Army, that's what I heard. I've been at different wars, 156 years apart. That same army, here we go. For the North, through strong and free, gotta ring the bells of liberty. It ain't all about that fight, fight, fight. Gotta take some love up in the light. Gotta take some love up in the sight. No need to run, I'm in no danger. Only play that defense, that's the stranger. No need to run, I ain't no danger. Only play that defense, ain't no stranger. Got that Asperger's, my weird. You know that I love in me some bacon. I ain't got money for the guitar, but the greatest woman that I know ain't been my friend cause of the money. Cause in the past 7 years, well, I ain't never really had any. As for my rock and roll, you know it's free. Freestylers I ship to be. Ship them coast to coast, warehouse that workers in the trucks. Gotta go that scaffold ladder, ho, be careful, gotta train higher. Gotta train a little bit higher, gotta go up and down. Up and down and not a frown, and not a frown, and not a crown. You know that I love it for the bakers and the butchers and the bakers and the nurses and the doctors. You know that's that scaffold, gotta be from the iron, gotta take it with some soft up in the pillows. It ain't all about that fight. You know, sometimes gotta get it right. Write me some loving. Write me some of that singing. Singing rock and roll, that 24. You know, geopoliticking. That's that Aspie Rainbow Dragon. You know, that's the priestess for the kingdom. Or the dragon. Dragon freestyle rock and roll. That's the PPP, public private partnership. You know the goal. For the soul and for the push-ups. Say me some love, some push-ups. Got a fitness junkie. That's the only junkie fitness. That's the only junkie fitness. Yep. You know that I love some wine. Very rare when I wine and dine. You know that I spit it on the wheels. You know that I spit up in the cart. For the sunrise and the sunset. Ain't no need to get upset. Just be asked up in the center. Left and right, that's center. Getting wild up and down. And no, we're not up and down. Just be asked up in the frown. Up in the crown, that's the sun. That's the one. Red and rising, red and setting. I'm just freestyle, you know, maybe. Hey, play me some good guitar. Play me some bass and drums. Play me some blazing rums. I'm blazing rums, I'm with no guns. Put them up in the free. Put them up in the B. Put them up in the C. Got that freedom tatty, you know, play a rainbow. Hey, yeah. Gotta get it for that Michael Sam, you know, that's the play for fumble. That's the grand. That's another story. Hey! What I see those maple leaves on the streets up in the sea. That's the maple leaf up in the sea. Make believe up in the seas. Gotta get it for the butchers, for the bakers, for the truckers. There'll be some labor. Halloween, don't be so selfish. It ain't all about Wall Street. God is. G-O-D-D assess it. I'm not perfect, I ain't selfish. No need to pretend I lick some lips. Shake it when I twerk, I'm hips. Gotta take up in the ellipse, black and white up in the rainbow, blue the sky up in the let's go. For that French up in your know, for that French up in your soul. For that left and right in the center, that's the left and right in your heads. Left and right when you cross the streets, even though if there's pedestrians. Gotta get it for that dragon. See me some dragon. Hey, look at that. Hey, that's a dragon. Just like that rainbow dragon, you just see and say hello. And you know what? I wish that the Halloween candy would have been reduced. Calling on the NFL National Football League, NHL National Hockey League, NBA National Basketball Association, ASAP, for today and for tomorrow. Reduce the cost 44.9% by 44.9%. By 44.9% estimates. Yours truly as I'm on the march. Now auctioning everything that I'm wearing for $1 million the jeans, $1 million the jeans, $1 million the shoes, $1 million the scarf. Gonna give half that 50% to my anonymous friend and get some money for the studio, start financing the building of the Forgotten Goddess Temple, if I will, W-A-L-L, my will to build the Forgotten Goddess Temple. Yes, I did say G-O-D-D-S-S. Forgotten Goddess. To build that Forgotten Goddess Temple with a House of the Dragon, and those are the buildings, you know, the North American People's Integrated Coliseum on the Canadian-US border, blah, blah, blah. Gonna credit someone more than just lip service to those who helped build it. Feet massages, feet washes, cooking, baking, rock and roll massages, kisses, tickles, all of that good. Any of the above mentioned, blah, blah, blah. Takes that brains and that muscle. Bus drivers, LOV, train conductors, LOV, the butchers, the bakers, the nurses, the doctors, the grocery store clerks, and all involved in the production and that distribution of that food. Now baking some of that bacon, baking some of that cheeseburgers, going North America coast to coast, and feeding populations from the food producers all the way, of course, from the ground up to the Wall Street to the skyscrapers. Please give some chatty mayonnaise for the holidays coming. Halloween's coming, so I need to give me some ring to propose a little bit of that marriage on the marriage side, special 21st century. Androgynous pansexual being that I am, androgynous pansexual BDSM switch to give dragon, rainbow dragon some push-ups. Leaders of the free world, that is the message to the leaders of the free world. Drop down, give rainbow dragon 13 push-ups. Make it 11, let's start with 5. 5 is good. Start there. And fitness journey, I encourage you all. My fitness journey continues every day. 7 years since I crossed Canada coast to coast, marking that celebration in parallel to marking 5 years when concluded that humanity is again on a course towards an international conflagration, and that going out east, that's facing east all the way to Nova Scotia, the Maritimes, all the way to Nova Scotia, the Maritimes, and all the way down there, that's the west, that's going up to BC, that British Columbia. So I went by bus 2017 all the way to BC, and then in September went all the way to Nova Scotia Maritimes by that train. So that was the event that changed my life and came out of being depressed and suicidal. I had an awakening. I said so many things to do here in North America. I started working out, training, and written hundreds of rock and roll songs and write them on the daily, bilingual, putting in some of my French here for the French language in Quebec, La Belle Province, where we're gonna swing it a little bit of that rock and roll right here, you know. We're gonna gram it up a little bit, and we're gonna get it out a little bit of that XYZ, and that's where we're gonna go get it with that, and that's what we're gonna need to get doing, you know. Some of them that are good loving for that XYZ, and we're gonna get it for that XYZ with that, and that's where we're gonna be drilling in, you know. And sometimes you gotta start your fitness journey today, and sometimes I start my fitness journey today and now, you know. It's always starts today, always starts now for me, and that's why when we're gonna get that rock and roll, you know. And, my black brothers and sisters, 13.3% of the North American population, blacks, you know, put on the table the kisses, hugs, you know, to reconcile, keep on reconcile with our natives, brothers and sister natives, and all North Americans unite. But me is by action, you know, because I can discuss blah blah blah, but I gotta put something on the table, and money I don't have because I'm financially stressed. But I put hugs, H-U-G-S, hug like you never hugged before is the main message. Hugs, kisses, and you know, we got to work together coast to coast, and all who join us from all over the world, the great North American Collective, who has little beautiful flowers just like this one. I don't know the name, spins a little bit of that Latin in it, and we're going to get a little bit on that wild side now here and enter in a little bit and then go see that sunset and come back and switch it to a little bit of that French, a little bit of something more. And please do not pollute when you come here, you know. Something which, of course, I like to go check the sun and go from civilization, go a little bit in the wild parts. We get a little bit of that wilderness up in, of course, wilderness in Montreal. Today I'm not doing a big, long, more than 4-hour march. It's just going to be maximum 3 hours, you know. Clocking in today, maximum 3 hours. Maximum 3 hours clock in today. Maximum. I said, gotta be back, take a bath, you know. It's work, geopolitics 24/7. This Asperger, got that Asperger's, also known as HFA, high functioning autism, and I struggle, I suffer because of it. But hey, you know, not only me, millions of us, men, women, whatever the case may be, black, brown, rainbow, you know, if you haven't come out, well, you know me, I've been out for years and years and years, especially in the sports leagues, you know. NFL, National Football League, NHL, National Hockey League, NBA, National Basketball Association, MLB. Now one of them, of the thousands of players, is out in the open. So that's basically a mathematical impossibility, right? Because there's 2 to 5% of the population of that age, myself, of my age, millennials and Gen Z, who play those aforementioned NFL, National Football League, and NHL, National Hockey League, NBA, National Basketball Association, MLB, who are, you know, part of the LGBTQ community. But that's just one part of me. Forget about that for now. You know, when you hear about discussing me geopolitics, you got to focus on my geopolitical theorizing and processes. When I, of course, dwell in geopolitics, because that's my obsessive interest. Of course, I got my Trinity. Aspies like myself, we have obsessive interests, and that preoccupies our time with intensity and super focus. And my Trinity is geopolitics, the study, the analysis of geopolitics events, geopolitical events, and everything to do with geopolitics 24/7. Dancing is my favorite sport, but sports and fitness. Dancing being my favorite sports or fitness activity. Dancing and marching, dancing, rock and roll with it. So that's the Trinity. You know, geopolitics, sports, rock and roll, or geopolitics, fitness, rock and roll, geopolitics, exercising, rock and roll. It's all part of fitness, exercising, dancing being my favorite sport and exercise activity. And yours truly, geopolitics. 5 years ago, 2019, marking, I predicted an international conflagration of World War III, which is unfolding across the world in a general overall, not in an overall detailed manner, but in a general manner, as I had predicted it back in, of course, October 2019. I got that proof of work, as I got that video online. I got 2 YouTube channels, and on Facebook, created my own workout training program system back then, of course, and I designed it to go hand in hand with such a scenario. And of course, I performed more than 372 blah 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 of that same workout, and here I am, still financially stressed. A little bit of that throat clearance, because it was minus 5, I think, this morning at 6. It was like -5 at 6. I'm like -5. Like, whoa. I gotta start putting some heat soon, but it's gonna get back to what is supposed to be around this time, and then it's probably gonna just drop. So that's what it is for that drop. And we gotta encourage all the workout, train, exercise. I encourage all the workout, train, exercise, and it's all here now today. You know, as I died of COVID, it's in 5 months. It's gonna be 5 years since I survived COVID. 2020, February 2020, February 2020, February 2020, February 2020, February 2020, February, March 2020, it was like death, pestilence, a disease. I was really sick, and I thought I was gonna die, but in many ways I did die, I always say in many ways I did die, but I'm being reborn here right now with these marching steps. In many ways I did die during COVID, as I'm being reborn now, but it was like death, pestilence, and disease, death, pestilence, and disease, death, pestilence, and disease. I know it sounds like a hardcore death metal, trash metal, death metal song. Death, pestilence, and disease upon my enemies right now, please. Sounds like that, but that's how I felt. So I played that defense, and we're gonna have to get that coast to coast North America NORAD Dragon Army, which is fundamentally a public-private partnership initiative, and to get that PPP, of course, to play defense like that hardball ball when my 49ers lost. And another Super Bowl which I really loved was Patriots' last Super Bowl won by Brady. The lowest ever scoring Super Bowl was 13-3 when the Rams defeated the Patriots defeated the Rams by 13-3. So last Super Bowl that Brady won with they were already saying he was too old, so that was like 9 years ago. He was saying it was 2016, 2016, maybe 7, something like that, maybe 6. So last Super Bowl that Brady won with the Patriots, it ended 13-3, 13-3, 13-3. That's one of my top 5 Super Bowls, and of course I'm a 49er faithful, and please reduce the ticket costs, and second is Raiders, and third is Patriots, but I'm a faithful, and you know, we empire not nation, we empire not nation, we empire not nation. I love football, gridiron, you know, although dancing is my favorite sport. I'd rather be dancing on the sidelines, but taking some technical plays and defense stratagems, but we're gonna play that defense like that hardball ball, you know, we gotta play that defense like that hardball ball, you know. It's playing defense like the hardball ball, and here I am, you know, in the wilderness with the cement blocks. Thank you, construction workers, and welders, construction workers, garbage collectors, picking up the garbage today, the recycling. I gotta send some LOV, because they gotta get some love. And I heard somebody, the neighbor, complaining. I'm not really complaining. I gotta, you know, sometimes we assume much. And, you know, as an ASPE, I'm neurodivergent, part of a tiny minority, less than 0.44%, so not even half of a percentile. Not even 1% are like myself with HFA, high-functioning autistics, and with Asperger's. But person mentioning something that they didn't pass, or XYZ, and they didn't pass for the recycling. But of course we gotta be grateful, because they're athletes also. And you know, I gotta ask the NFL, National Football League, NHL, National Hockey League, NBA, National Basketball Association, MLB, to please, just please, a call of the heart, please reduce the ticket costs and give the public workers across North America, give them free tickets, you know, those who pick up the garbage collectors of the cities, big cities like my metropolis city, Montreal, 2.5 million people. Give them free tickets to go see the game, free tickets for the nurses, the public workers, pick up the garbage collectors, or pick up the garbage, or pick up the compost. So what are those 5 pieces? So it's important not to, it looks like the island of Montreal. Actually, it looks like the island of Montreal, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So please don't pollute. See, 5. Doesn't matter but how many pieces, but this has to be recycled. So I'm gonna put it in there, unless it's compostable. But it had black ink, so it didn't seem compostable. But whatever, just don't pollute here, because you know the recycling is gonna get picked up, and we gotta salute those who pick up the recycling and the compost and the garbage. Of course, I got 3 services myself a few years ago, about 5 years ago, 6 already. Wow, 2018, yeah, 2018, 6 already. I worked on the compost project, you know, and you know, I gotta salute, because they're athletes also. When you see them putting on those big machines, and we need to build more big machines like that, so we need a lot of work to do. We got a lot of work, a lot of infrastructure work here across the collective North American Civilization, calling all to support the North American Collective Workers Party, North American Collective Workers Party, North American Collective Workers Party by Rainbow Dragon. And here I wanted to see a little bit of the railroad, saluting the railway conductors, and I'm gonna sing some of that rock and roll, gonna stretch a little bit, and gonna be looking for the railways. All the goes all the way to the Canadian Pacific, and of course Canadian Pacific Kansas Rail, which united in 2023, created of course a trans rail of North America, Canada, US, Mexico, Canada, US, Mexico, goes all the way to mid-Mexico, to like Mexico City, to midway to Mexico, so it connects Canada, US, Mexico, and it united in 2023. So I gotta salute that and call for the public-private partnership to support the dream, the dancing goddess and the dragon kingdom. And here of course is kind of where it ends, because there furthermore is gonna say public, because it's like private, but we need more private and public partnership. But you can come up to here, but of course you cannot go more on the railroads, and you got to be prudent. And of course there should be some safety and concerns, unless of course it's guided. That we need more integrated citizen education about our railroads infrastructure, the public services, and it takes that public-private partnership. Support the dream, the dancing goddess and the dragon kingdom, which is my dream for the dancing goddess and the dragon kingdom, fundamentally for the North American Republican Democratic Republic, the Democratic Republic of North America, for public-private partnership for the dancing goddess army, North American integrated dance league with the dragon army, the North American security and service dance to integrate across all areas. Coast to coast, ocean to ocean, coast to coast, ocean to ocean, coast to coast, ocean to ocean. Let's go for that rock and roll song for the butchers, for the bakers, for the nurses, for the drug train conductors. On the choo-choo train, you know, it takes that brain and that steel, that software and that microchips and satellites, you know, that are taught that God, got a wisdom, got a knowledge, that the goddess would have swing it. Swing those hips and rock and roll, swings those hips up in the door, that's the YouTube, that's the go, that's the flow up in the dough, that's the flow up in the yo, that's the, you know, service, that's we go. Service as we go, takes the brains and takes that muscle, takes that limb, takes that muscle, sometimes takes the brains and with the hustle. And you know, it takes that soft and that cooking with the love. Let's go for that rock and roll up in the dough, for that French up in your nose, so that French, cause we la belle province. That's what I just... Hey, said, love is not about fight. Hug like you never heard before, and support the dream, dancing guys, dragon kingdom. Support the rainbow dragon, support the rainbow dragon, support the rainbow dragon. Let's go, push-ups, hug, squats, let's go. Français, on est là en belle province, puis on regarde. Ça prend plus une chanson qu'on chante. Une nouvelle chanson de votre dragon, puis je vous encourage à l'entraînement physique. Et ça fait du bien. On voit qu'on regarde. Faut faire le nettoyage chez nous, la belle province, l'Amérique du Nord. Faut bâtir notre centrale. On a bien du fromage, du vin, puis des bombardiers, des armements. Des armements, puis pour la défense. Défense pour la sociale. Il faut faire du nettoyage, puis ça tire sa poque. Ben du rock'n'roll 24 de votre artiste Aspi. Le dragon en arc-en-ciel. Du blanc et du noir. Le dragon en arc-en-ciel. Des fois, je me gratte. J'ai des cicatrices. Des fois, je me gratte. Mais des fois, messieurs et madame, des fois, messieurs et madame, je promène des fois, messieurs et madame, des fois, messieurs et madame, des fois, messieurs et madame, des fois, messieurs et madame. Et bien sûr, pour sa face, de chez nous, puis oui, regarde. Et messieurs, ben bonjour, joue un tour. Joue un tour, faux secours, pour la gauche, pour la droite. Et encore, faut ça lance. Mais chez nous, la belle province, oui, merci des travailleurs de l'Hydro-Québec qui ont bâti les transmissions. Les transmissions de l'acier s'en prend. De l'acier, du ciment, du béton puis du savoir-faire. Pas juste de la force pour se battre. Faut avoir un peu d'amour pour l'espoir, pour les noirs, pour les blancs puis pour l'arc-en-ciel. Pour tous ceux qui habitent en belle province. Une chanson de chez nous. Pour vous, pour la gauche, pour la droite. Et c'est nous sa face, bien sûr. Des aliments puis du fromage, un autre histoire de regarde, de dames puis de l'arc-en-ciel, et ça joue du nettoyage, encore une image, des fois ça prend du doux, Québécois et Québécoises, hey, les mains dans les airs, on chatouille, pas de mouille, pas de muscle, ouh, regarde les abeilles sont parties comme des canards dans le sud, les oiseaux de l'Amérique, dans le nord qu'on est ici, et on est dans la métropole, on est entouré d'une rivière, puis regarde, c'est belle, là. Son rouge, la couleur que j'aime, je danse, je vous chante. En noir et blanc et arc-en-ciel, les dragons qui lancent les airs, pas de fumée calvaire, il y a moins de feu, mais plus de bisous de chez nous. C'est du rock'n'roll 24/24 avec votre artiste, athlète, Asperger, philosophe mystique, puis qui vous encourage à faire l'entraînement physique, la gratitude super important 24/24, puis bien sûr à faire l'entraînement physique, c'est quelque chose que moi je vous encourage, j'ai créé mon propre système d'entraînement physique, je marque encore 5 ans depuis que j'ai conclu, parce que vous savez que la géopolitique, c'est mon intérêt obsessif, et je suis un analyste théoricien en géopolitique indépendant qui a prévu la situation actuelle en 2019, puis bien sûr, je fais des analyses au quotidien, c'est mes intérêts obsessifs, c'est la géopolitique, le rock'n'roll, puis l'entraînement physique, soit la danse, c'est mon sport préféré, donc c'est ça que je fais au quotidien, puis plus, bien sûr, avec l'Asperger, c'est la condition de l'autisme hautement fonctionnel, ce n'est pas une maladie mentale, c'est une condition de neurodivergence, puis ça fait que j'ai ces intérêts obsessifs, il faut que je travaille sur les symptômes, parce qu'il n'y a pas de médicament pour le genre de condition mentale que j'ai, il faut juste des fois me dire des choses directement, puis on a ses intérêts obsessifs, puis on a tendance à utiliser des mots trop académiques, intellectuels, sophistiqués dans certaines circonstances que ça ne requiert pas. Fait qu'on est neurodivergent puis bizarre, mais je vis avec mes cicatrices, mais je vous encourage à faire l'amour, puis je vous encourage à l'entraînement physique, puis je vous aime, puis je veux pour la défense de la côte à côte, puis j'ai un rêve qui s'appelle le royaume de la déesse et du dragon qui danse. Puis, fondamentalement, c'est un appel à un partenariat public-privé. C'est fondamentalement un appel à un partenariat public-privé pour le collectif de la Civilisation de l'Amérique du Nord. Pour l'Amérique du Nord, c'est fondamentalement la fondation de deux institutions de partenariat public-privé pour la défense, sécurité et les services dans le 21e siècle, basé sur une couple de mes philosophies, basé un peu sur la vieille, puis sur la nouvelle école, parce qu'on en prend de la vieille école ici. Il faut bâtir d'autres centrales, il faut rebâtir l'infrastructure, on a bien du travail à faire dans les domaines artistiques, philosophiques, puis moi-même, je suis juste en stress, je vis un stress financier en ce moment, mais à part ça, mais je suis jovial, je suis joyeux, mais je m'entraîne, je fais l'exercice, je fais des méditations quotidiennement. Maintenant, même là, c'est dans ma tête, c'est des fois des méditations dans le contexte géopolitique actuel que j'ai prévu en 2019, il faut le dire, puis je le répète encore une fois, que j'ai prévu qu'est-ce qui se passe maintenant en 2019. Et bien sûr, dans ce contexte, d'avoir prévu qu'est-ce qui se passe maintenant, que je continue au quotidien mes philosophies, puis mes analyses en géopolitique, puis c'est ça, bien sûr, que moi-même je fais, puis c'est des analyses, bien sûr, au quotidien que je suis en train de faire dans le quotidien, mais là, je vois qu'il y a un chien, fait que il faut que je fasse attention, parce qu'il y a un chien, fait que j'ai des allergies à certaines espèces de chiens, fait qu'il faut pas que... Oupsie! Faut pas que je m'approche trop, parce que il a le poil trop long, genre. Fait que je les admire de loin. Ils sont beaux de loin, mais les poodles, par exemple, je peux les flatter. Ceux-là, j'éternue à cause qu'ils sont là. Le poil il est trop long. Fait que si je m'approche de la face trop proche, je commence à éternuer. J'ai comme des réactions allergiques aux poils longs puis épais de certaines espèces de chiens. Je les ai pas flattés ceux-là, mais comme ça va dans plusieurs vidéos, tu sais, qui viennent sur la montagne, qui se rapprochent, puis des fois, achou, 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 achou. Sauf les poodles, je les aime, mais je les admire de loin quand même, là, ils sont beaux, ceux-là étaient beaux, noirs et blancs, mais c'est plus de loin, sauf les poodles, je peux les flatter à journée longue, là, puis c'est les autres qui me font, j'ai des réactions allergiques, pas sévères, mais j'éternue à cause du poil, je commence à éternuer, genre, puis j'éternue, achou, 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 c'est ça qui s'en fait une réaction, là, pas vraiment du sens de me sentir malade, mais je commence à éternuer, genre, sauf les poodles. Ceux qui ont les poils longs, donc that's it, that's all rock'n'roll, je vis avec ça, comme je vis avec l'amnésie rétrograde, puis avec l'Asperger's, puis avec mes cicatrices sur le corps, puis toutes ces choses-là, mais aujourd'hui, bien sûr, mais j'ai mon rêve est fondamentalement un appel à un partenariat et pour un partenariat public-privé. Un PPP, un partenariat public-privé à travers le collectif nord-américain pour la sécurité, le service puis la défense du 21e siècle, basé sur mes prédictions puis qui continue dans le contexte géopolitique actuel, bien sûr. J'ai prévu qu'est-ce qui se passe en 2019, il faut le dire, je le répète. J'ai prévu qu'est-ce qui se passe en ce moment en 2019. J'ai prévu qu'est-ce qui se passe maintenant en 2019. J'ai prévu qu'est-ce qui se passe maintenant en 2019. En 2019, j'ai prévu la situation actuelle. Parce que je m'ai basé la théorie, puis j'ai conclu qu'à cause qu'il y a des conflits qui n'ont pas été capables d'être résolus dans certaines régions, civilisations, puis entre nations et pays des différents continents et des différentes régions de ces différentes civilisations, il y aura un débordement puis une continuité dans le 21e siècle. C'est ça vraiment qui arrive, mais c'était plus en détail que ça, c'était plus sophistiqué un peu que ça, mais c'était ce point majeur de convergence que j'avais prévu en 2019. Puis j'ai la preuve là, de ça, j'ai la preuve. Après, j'ai en ligne, bien sûr. Fait que that's all, mais je vous encourage à faire l'entraînement physique. Faites de l'entraînement physique, c'est bon pour la santé. Puis je célèbre 7 ans depuis que j'ai sorti de ma dépression. J'ai traversé le Canada de côte à côte. Cet événement dans ma vie, ça m'a fait vraiment sortir de la dépression. J'ai voyagé de côte à côte. Puis c'est un événement dans ma vie que ça a tout changé ma vie. Ça a tout changé ma vie. La continuité de ma vie, là, ça a tourné de bord. Puis ça a changé ma vie. Puis ça a fait une bonne chose dans ma vie. Puis je pense aux conducteurs de train. Je sais pas comment ils se ressentent. Faites-leur l'amour aux pompiers aussi. Je dois envoyer de l'amour aux pompiers. Là. Amour à nos pompiers de l'Amérique du Nord. Amour à nos pompiers de l'Amérique du Nord. Les boulangers. Faut que je pense à eux autres, les boulangers. Hein. les pompiers, les boulangers, les infirmières, ceux qui travaillent dans les garderies, qui changent les couches, je chante eux autres pour eux autres aussi. Puis je fais mes théories puis pour eux autres aussi, pour tous les 40 millions puis les 10 millions de Québécois dans l'Amérique du Nord. Moi-même, incluant moi-même, bien sûr. Puis les travailleurs de l'Hydro-Québec du passé, à cause d'eux autres qu'on a de l'électricité, puis les centrales, il faut en bâtir plus, ça n'a pas les bois. Puis les travailleurs publics qui changent les aqueducs. Il y a bien du travail à faire sur les ponts, les changements des ponts. Hein? Les changements des ponts. Des changements des ponts, il y a du renouveau de l'infrastructure. Les travailleurs de train, les travailleurs qui sont bien sûr, dans les entrepôts, dans les ports de l'Amérique du Nord. Il faut lancer le parti travailleur du collectif nord-américain, le parti travailleur du collectif nord-américain dans ce beau coucher de soleil. Regardez, c'est pour ça que je suis venu voir le coucher du soleil. Fait que je fais pas plus que 3 heures aujourd'hui parce que j'ai entraîné bien comme il faut la semaine passée, fait que faut que je me repose aussi, puis j'ai fait du bon travail chez nous, du lavage, puis j'ai encore des choses à faire, puis du point de vue de ma santé, bien sûr, c'est quelque chose qu'il faut que je fasse au quotidien, puis dans le quotidien, du beau travail, puis les chauffeurs d'autobus, il faut que je chante pour eux autres aussi, les camionneurs, les chauffeurs d'autobus, les boulangers dans les boulangeries, les soudeurs, les travailleurs, les électriciens, les plombiers, les infirmières, les chefs de cuisine, les caissières dans les caisses, dans les entrepôts. Faut que j'envoie de l'amour aux autres aussi.